morning everyone. Myself Dr. Rashmi Gupta, guest lecturer, Computer Science Department, Pandit Sundarlal Sarma Open University, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. In this lecture, we will going to discuss a very important functional topic, that is data types in C++. Data types are basically building blocks of every C++ program. Without data types, we cannot declare any variables, we can't store any values, perform calculation or build meaningful applications. In this presentation, we will understand what the data types are, why they are important, the types of built-in data types, derived data types, user-defined data types, and their practical examples. By the end of the session, you will clearly understand how C++ stores and manages the data internally. What are data types and why do they matter? Let us start with the simple questions. What is data type? A data type specifies what kind of data variable can hold, how much memory it occupies, and how the computer interprets the data. For example, if we store age, we use int. If we use price, we use float or double. If we use character, we use char data types. C++ is statically typed data. This means every variable must declare its type before use. The compiler checks the type during compilation, and this provides type safety, fewer runtime errors, better performance. Choosing the right data type ensures efficient memory usage, no overflow, correct result. So we can say that data types directly affect the program's reliability and efficiency. Now we discuss the memory behind the data types. Now let us understand how the memory works. Memory is organized in bytes. In 1 bytes, there is 8 bits. All data inside a computer is stored in a binary forms, zeros and one forms. Data types tell the compiler how to interpret these bits. For example, the integer 65 in binary is stored as 0, 1, 00, 00, single 0, 1. Interestingly, this same pattern represents the characters A in ASCII code. So the meaning of the bits depends on the data type used. That is why declaring the data type is extremely important. Now, what are the data types, different data types available in C++? There are 3 types of the data, that is fundamental data types, or we can say that primitive data types, derived data types, and user defined data types. In fundamental or primitive data types, there is integer, character, boolean, floating point, double floating point, void, and byte characters. In derived data types, there is function, array, pointer, reference. And in user defined data types, there is class, structure, union, and enum. Now, let me discuss one by one in detail the different data types in C++. First, that is built-in data types, primitive data types, or fundamental data types. Let us discuss the built-in data types provided by the C++. These include the integral types, floating types, character types, boolean types, and void data types. In integer types, we store the whole numbers of various sizes. In floating type, we declare or we use the decimal and fractional values. In character types, we use single characters and Unicode. In boolean, we just say true and false, logical values are there. And in void, that means the absence of data. Now, integral data types or whole numbers. In this, the integral sort, it uses the 2 bytes for storage in memory, suitable for a smaller range. Integer, generally it takes the 4 bytes and mostly used integer type. For long, it uses the 4 to 8 bytes. It is platform dependent and it is used when int is not sufficient. That means if there will be large numbers or there will be large type of numbers, we use the long. And for long, it takes the 8 bytes used for very large numbers like timestamps or big counters. We also have a signed and unsigned versions. Unsigned version removes just use for negative values and doubles the positive ranges. Now, what is characters and boolean type? Character stores the single character, user 1 byte. It can be signed or unsigned. Boolean, already tell you that it stores the true and false values, usually mainly in conditions and decision making statement. It holds the 1 byte. Now next is the floating point data types. I just say that it takes the 4 byte for float, 8 byte for double, 128 byte for long double. Generally we say that this this all follows the IEEE 754 standards. Okay. Now next slide we just discuss the void type represent void data. Void represent the absence of data. It is used when a function does not return anything. To show that a function takes the no argument, example there, just see void great. This means the functions perform an actions but no return anything, but returns nothing. Void cannot be used to create a normal variables, or say that it is a function return types or empty parameter list. Now second is the derived data types. Derived data types are built from fundamental types to create richer, more complex data structures. They gave C++ its expressive power for system level and application programming. Or they includes the array. Array is a collection of the homogeneous data type, pointers that stores the or holds the memory address, function that is function is name, reusable blocks of logic, and references that is we can say that it is an alias name to the existing variable. Now, what is arrays and pointers? I already told you that an array is a fixed size collection of an elements of the same type. For example, just see here, int array, that is we declared it is of the the array stores the same data type. So here 10, 20, 30, 40, these all datas are integers type and stores the four datas, and array indexing is always starting from the 0. That is 0 is used for int array 0 for 10, array 1 is used for 20, array 2 is used for 30, array 3 is used for 40, and array 3 is used for 40, and array 4 is used for 50. And what about the pointers? Pointers hold the address of variables. If we discuss the advantage of an array, easy access using an index, also it is a efficient storage, but there is a disadvantage that it is a fixed size and accessing bound out of bound causes unbehaved or undefined behavior. That means it only stores the same data types. Pointers stores the memory address. Example, int x is equal to 42, int asterisk pointer is equal to address of x. That means pointer p stores the address of x. And if we want to access the value of x, then here we use the asterisk p that gives the value of x. Pointers are basically used in dynamic memory allocation, linked list, trees, and advantage of advanced programming, for advanced programming, and arrays and pointers are closely related in C++. That means these two concepts are main in C++. Now the functions and references. Functions are the reusable code of blocks that perform a specific task. They can accept a parameter of any data types and a return value or void if nothing is written. They promote reuse and modularity. Advantages of functions are it's avoid repetitions, improve the modularity, increase the readability, and functions can accept the parameters, return values, return void. Okay, now we can say that functions are very important in structured programming. And if we talk about the references, it is an alias for an existing variable. Changes made through the reference directly. That means integer x is equal to 10 to reference address reference is one of the variable is equal to x. Now reference and x refers to the same memory. So we can say that references must be initialized at declaration and they are commonly used in function parameters for aliasing the various variables name. Now again next this slide we will discuss about the user defined data types. User defined data types, we first discuss the what is a struct. Struct, it is a group variables of different types under one name, and it is used for plain data records. For example, here student is one of the declared as a structures, and here we use the different data types such as int, id, character, grade. Again, what is class? Class is used to, it is a blueprint for an object. It combines the data, fields and behavior that is, we can say that method with access control. Here we use the class car. Car is type of the class that having the properties like speed and one of the function that is accelerate. Now next enum. Enum, it assigns the name constant to the integers value, making code for readable and intent clearer. Example, enum color. Here we use the three red, green and blue. That means the enum defines the name contents to improve the readability. Now what is enumerations? Again, enumeration is a set of the named integer concept making code for more readable and expressive than using the raw numbers. Here just suppose directions are there, that is the same type of directions names are there, north, south, east and west, that they are more readable and more easy for any readers to read and meaning for making a program meaningful. And if you're talking about the advantages, it improves the readability, provide type safety, improve the maintainability. Using the enum class is better and it prevents the name conflicts. Now let me take some examples, practical examples, so that we are more clear with the integers and floats or different data types. Let us see the practical example of int and float. Int apples store, here we see that int apples store the integer values and float, that is float variables. Price each is a float type of variables that stores the float data. Again total stores the float data. So here we see that there are multiple data types here in this programs are declared, and we declared according to our convenience so that the programs are easy and gives the correct output. That means if we are multiply with in C++, automatically it converts to the float. When we convert the integers to the float, it automatically converts into the float. That means we also so that it is a implicit conversion. Okay. Now key takeaway, just integers for whole quantities and use float for decimal. Integers and float triggers implicit the conversion and promotes the integers to float automatically. Always suffix float letters with f, example 1.20f, to avoid the unintended double promotions. Okay, now let me conclude. Data types are the foundation of C++ programming, and understanding them helps in writing the efficient programs, avoiding the memory wastage, preventing the logical errors, building the professional software. And if you master the different data types, that means you are the masters of the basic of C++. Thank you so much.